We are live. What's up, everybody? We are back on another episode in the Solar Objection Group. My name is Joe Moose, aka Solar Joe. We have an amazing episode for you guys. Really quick, we're gonna keep it short and sweet. We got one of my favorite people in the solar industry. One of my early mentors, Mr. Everybody knows, Jonathan Gibbs. What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, what's up, Solar fam? What's going on?
So what we're doing today, what Jonathan brought to me, is this amazing offer, amazing FFCRA Leave Credit that is available, and there's lots of money available, tax credits that I not gonna be able to speak the way as eloquent as Travis Slade is, a CPA from Figure Financial that's here with us. Mr. Travis, nice to meet you, man.
Good to be here. Thanks, Joe.
And Jonathan, I know you're the one that brought this to me, and you're the one that knows Travis and Figure Financial. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened, man?
Yeah, so I met Figure Financial earlier last year through Nito, our AI texting platform, and we've been doing AI texting campaigns for Figure Financial for almost a year for ERC tax credits, where businesses have filed and gotten hundreds of thousands, and in some case, millions of dollars back on tax credits. And that's not what this is. But I went in there to talk to my client, Figure Financial, about more campaigns we could do. And they found this tax credit that's not for businesses. It's actually for 1099 salespeople, people who make an income on 1099, like definitely our solar family, our 1099 reps, but also like real estate agents, mortgage loan officers, anybody that has a stay-at-home business that reports 1099 earnings. If you have like a side hustle in MLM, you make 1099 income there. Or any form of 1099 income, there's a tax credit that's still available that starts to expire in April that people are getting back right now in like 2 to 6 weeks. I just found out about it. I wanted to share it with Solar, and I haven't posted on my Facebook yet because I know that you have a bigger reach than me. I know you have a trusted audience, and I just wanted to, share the information as quickly as possible with as much people as I know as possible. And so, as you know, I came to you last week and I said, hey, look at what we found. Here's the IRS code. Here's all the documentation behind it. Like, we should tell our friends about this right away, because guys are getting back checks right now in 4 to 6 weeks between like $10,000 and $35,000. It's incredible.
Yeah, we're going to keep this short and sweet. So everybody watching, if you want to let us know where you're from, where you're watching from, and what's your name. But we're going to get this quick and get right into it. And Travis, I know Jonathan just introduced me, but please quickly tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are right now, man.
Yeah, so I'm a CPA and spent the last couple of years focused exclusively on specialty tax credits, especially COVID-related tax credits. So a lot of people have probably heard about the employee retention credit. That's been a huge credit that a lot of people have been focusing on. And this credit we're going to talk about today, the FFCRA self-employed credit, is something that's been around since the beginning of COVID, but just has been overlooked by a lot of people. And now that the window is starting to expire, a lot of people are trying to get this before it's going to start expiring in April of 2024.
Just really quick, because my mind went to automatically about that ERC tax credit that companies were calling me about, saying you had to have 2 employees. And I thought immediately that's what this was. This is not that. This is completely different, right?
Completely different. Yeah. So it was related to Congress passing a bunch of legislation right at the beginning of COVID when everyone was scared. There was a bill called the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. We say FFCRA to be shorter, not that much shorter, but it was a bill passed by Congress in early 2020. And it is completely different than the employee retention credit. The only similarity is that it's related to COVID.
Man, I got so many questions, but Jonathan, I know that you already got into this. I'll let you lead the way in getting the audience more familiar with this.
Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing. And so, a lot of us don't understand the tax code. I've never done my own taxes. I've had someone else do my taxes for a long time. People can do this themselves. So I just want to say that we're going to show a service that has made it easy. They basically created an easy button where you can spend less than an hour and get back this credit. If you, and they charge a fee, and we'll cover that here on the podcast. If you want to do it yourself, I've asked Joe to post a link also, like in the comment section, if you want to go right to the IRS and do it yourself. But the reality is a lot of people like me is we can make more money with our hour or 2 hours or a week going out and selling a new account or making a deal. And we'd rather pay someone to do stuff for us. And that's what I was like. I've never collected a lot of tax credits, but when my accountant comes to me and says, Gibbs, I'll make it easy for you. I'll fill in all the forms and here's what you get back. I mean, it's really silly not to do that. And so that's what's been happening. And this is a great company. They're actually headquartered in Utah. They have billboards. If you're driving from Silicon Slopes to Salt Lake, you'll actually see their billboards. It's one of the best companies to work for in Utah, Figure Financial, actually on the northbound side heading to Salt Lake. They've processed, I think, over $1 billion in ERC tax credits over the last couple of years. And now their focus is on this self-employed credit. And Joe, do you want us to show the form? Because it's so easy to fill out. Guys can just fill it out. There's a 3-step process. Step number 1 is for free. In like 3 minutes, you can get a quick estimate on what you're eligible for. And so we walked Joe through this. So here's Joe's application. And then Travis, you want to walk us through this as Joe kind of scrolls down and how we fill it out? So obviously
after entering your basic contact information, as you go down below, there's an opportunity to enter an estimate for this credit. So if you're curious, is it really worth it? And it goes through the 2 factors that determine your credit. The first is your income. So we look at your income in 2019, 2020, and 2021. And you can just put a range of what your income was in those years. And then there's 3 buckets.
And to be fair to Joe right now, this is the cap. So it caps on 150. I don't want to out my boy here. This is the cap. So if Joe made $1 million last year, he can only submit it for 150K here. So Joe, you want to show that drop down? So that's the cap.
There's a drop down, and believe me, I'm trying to click on this. I'm like, click, but it's not showing on the other screen for some reason. But believe me, there is other options.
This is the cap. So anybody that reported more than $150,000 in income for 2020 and 2021, you're getting the max. Is that right, Travis? You're getting the max.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Joe's maxing this out, fam. All right.
Right. Now, that's the first factor. The second factor in getting as much as possible with this credit is this credit. The spirit of the credit is that the government is reimbursing you for days that you had to miss work because of COVID. And they care about 3 buckets of why you had to miss work. The first bucket is days that you had to care for yourself. So if you had COVID, or if you were in an area that had like a shelter in place and your business, you couldn't go out and knock doors or something because your business was not considered essential. There's a few reasons on reasons you had to care for yourself. That's the first bucket. The second bucket is caring for others. So if you had a family member who had COVID and you had to take care of them, that could count towards this as well. And then the third bucket is if you have children or dependents and you had to miss work to take care of them. So if the schools were closed or daycares were closed and you had to take care of them at home, and
Travis, that's really like all of us, right? I mean, I lived in Washington and Utah. But those 2 states were polar opposite, and one was wide open and one was like totally shut down. But this is pretty much everybody. If you got COVID, you missed. I got COVID twice and I missed at least a week. I was in pain for a week, like both times. So this is just putting this in there.
It's going to be very common that someone's going to have some days that you couldn't work because you had something happen related to COVID. And you can go through, in the questionnaire, it goes through more details on, what classifies. Like if you were getting a vaccine, that counts as missing work, right? So there's certain things specifically, but just generally it's if you had COVID or someone had COVID or there were some shelter in place or something and you had to miss work because of COVID, those days can go towards this credit.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And then so Joe in this example is filling out only 2 of those 3 buckets. And Joe, when you scroll down to the bottom, what does it say? Yeah, so you're getting back $20,000 even without filling out anything in that 3rd bucket. It's at 0.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think you had 30 in there last time we were going. So there it is. So it's $26,000. I think mine was $32,000 when I filled it out. I had a friend fill it out yesterday for 12 grand. But here's the deal. This is free money, right? Like this isn't a loan like that. Like they had those little loans that were going out earlier. This is a tax credit from the government. And how fast does it come? How fast does it come back to people?
Yeah. So anywhere, as soon as, let's say, 2 weeks as best case scenario, but it could take a couple months. So it depends. So this credit is for 2020 and 2021. And depending on what year we're filing for, if we're filing for 2020, the IRS makes us have to paper file in 2020. So that's going to take a little longer. That's going to be closer to 2 or 3 months if it's for 2020. If it's a portion that's in 2021, we're still allowed to electronically file those. So that's going to be closer to 2 to 4 weeks. And we can put your bank account information so it can get directly deposited into your bank account. You don't necessarily have to wait for a check in the mail.
So somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months. So if it's the first, second week of January, and then Joe, I'm doing the math in my head right now. So that takes me to, if I fill it out now, the first week of January, first week of February, first week of March, I can actually get my money before SolarCon. So
it might be right in time for SolarCon. Pay for those flights and hotels and upgrades to tickets, maybe.
Yeah, real talk, right? Like, hey, we know it's been a tough year in 2023, and a lot of people have really struggled. And so we really want to get this out. And yeah, I mean, the price of SolarCon isn't the tickets, it's the travel and all those things. And guys could literally, I know there's people that want to come to this event that have asked me. I mean, people have hit me up for free tickets because they know that I've done promotions for you and stuff. And I was able to get some people in for free last year, but most of my friends I paid for the booth and things like that. And it just adds up. But here's a real opportunity where with the money that we've already paid in taxes, we can get back some of that before SolarCon. We can take not just ourselves, we can take us, our top 5 guys, top 10 guys. We can show them a good time. Everybody that goes to this event has huge production. Joe, I got dozens of customers from you guys last time that I was there in the Nito booth. And also it was just good. I had been out of the business for a while, and it was just really good, seeing my friends again, getting encouraged, getting caught up to speed with what everybody's doing.
Crushed it on main stage too, by the way.
Thanks, man. But it's a real thing. And so guys, the thing is this starts expiring. An eighth of it goes away by the time we get to SolarCon. So we've actually invited the company to come and exhibit. So you can come to SolarCon and you can fill this out, and you can actually get your credit like at SolarCon. You can spend 30 minutes in a booth, fill it all out, get some help. But on April 15th, 1/8 of this goes away. So, like Joe, I don't know, whatever, 25% of that is 25 grand is like, what do you got? 26 grand. So that's like almost 7 grand. So $3,500 of this would go. If you fill this out after April 15th, you lose like $3,500. Basically, quick math. Hope I didn't embarrass myself on this live podcast.
No, the math is sound. The math is sound. I would think of it's the 2020 portion that's going to expire in April, right? So any days that you missed in 2020, we can't give you a benefit for those after April. We can only give you a benefit for the 2021 days that you had missed for COVID. So I think a lot of people, the early days of COVID, that's when in 2020, that's when daycares were shut down. That's when shelter in place was in order, things like that. So I think there's a lot of incentive to try to capture that 2020 portion.
So really quick, I showed my application showed $26,000, but what's kind of like the median? What's the lows and highs? What's the kind of the maximum credit you're seeing available?
Yeah, so the maximum is going to be 32,000. If you had the highest income and you maxed out the most amount of days, it's going to be 32,000. The average right now is closer to about 15,000. Obviously, people can be higher or lower. If you don't have any kids or dependents, that's the most you could get is going to be 22,000. So that's immediately going to reduce your maximum a little bit if you don't have kids.
And you already said the year.
That's pretty amazing.
2021, right?
Say that again. Yeah,
2020
and 2021. Yep.
Okay, so if people have, so just to recap, if people had COVID, or someone in their house had COVID, or someone at work had COVID and they couldn't go into work because of it, these are the three categories. If one of those three things happened in 2020 and or 2021, they're eligible for money. And they can go to their tax accountant, they can refile their taxes, they can pay a fee there, they can go to H&R Block, they can do it. I mean, if we're honest, our friends are not doing their own taxes. That's not our crowd. I think very few of our
people
friends
don't do their own taxes.
And there is a fee for this. And so it's free to get an estimate, which is great. Everybody should get an estimate right now to see if it's worth it. And then Figure Financial has done something really cool for your Facebook group, which I just found out before getting on here, which is it's normally $150 processing fee. But if people fill it out before, Travis, you said January 19th?
Correct.
Okay. So if we post this link on Facebook and you go in and fill out the same information that Joe and I just filled out, normally it's $150 application fee. They're going to waive that fee for this Facebook group between now and I know. Let's go. This is
our community,
awesome.
baby.
Yeah, and then they will show you how much you'll get back from the IRS, and then the submission fee to actually file it on your behalf. I understand, Travis, is 20% or $1,000, whichever is greater.
Correct. Yeah. So minimum fee of $1,000 and then a 20% of the credit to take care of everything.
So Figure Financial is your setter. You guys are the closers. You're on an 80-20 split. They're going to set you up, and all you got to do is fill out that form for 30 to 60 minutes, find the dates in your calendars that match, and turn in your 1040 form. I'm pretty pumped about this.
I'm going to ask a dumb question.
You want to say about it?
Real quick, I'm going to ask the dumb question. I know this is 80-20, just to make sure, where does the tax credit go? Does it go straight to the person?
Correct. Yep. So it's on your individual income tax return. So the tax return everyone wants to file by April of every year. It's called Form 1040. We file an amended one of those, and it's effectively a tax credit that goes directly into your bank account. It's not considered taxable income, so you get to keep all the money that you get minus our fee.
So the next step is pretty simple. They just click on the link, they do the application we just showed them before, and they click on submit. And what happens after that?
Yep. So after they hit submit, then it'll go to pending the documents that you'll need to send us. So you'll need to send us a copy of your 2020 and 2021 tax returns. And you'll also need to go through our date details. So you'll have to go through a questionnaire, and you have to actually pick the dates on a calendar that you were out on COVID. This is probably the most painful part of the process, but it makes it extremely compliant with the IRS. So we're very heavy on doing things the right way, and there are some specific guidelines from the IRS, and we're following all of those to the T. So if you do everything we ask you to do, you'll be in good shape with the IRS.
Jonathan,
That's
anything
awesome.
I'm missing? Anything else we want to touch on?
Yeah, I'd like to put together, I think we should do something really big with this, Joe. Like, I think we should get back on here in a couple weeks, and I think we should get the word out. What if, I was just thinking, like, people are getting back, let's say people get back 20. So I'm just doing some math, right? Like, let's say people get back 20 grand. Let's say we can help 5,000 people in solar over the next 90 days get back $20,000, right? In our community. Like, we can spread the word, we can do this, we can pass it along. If 5,000 men and women each get back 20,000, right? I'm doing this twice. That's $100 million. We can literally, we can literally,
we can raise $100 million for the solar community.
We can raise $100 million from our community, right? And And in a time where we need those, I mean, when has solar needed this more than literally right now? Like the first quarter of this year, people are hurting. I know solar companies that their installs are light and they're really struggling right now. There's no M1s. It's really hard to sell the way out of it. Like things are strapped for some people. I know some people are crushing it, and that's great too. And if you're crushing it, get the money back and give it to someone else if you don't need it, or fly to Vegas, put it on black if you want, but like get your money back. Because if there's anything I know about the IRS, if we don't claim this, the military is going to go, write off a $200 million hammer, and they're going to take it, right? Like this money is going to go somewhere. Like this money has come from taxpayers and it's set aside for taxpayers, and it's going to go to someone else if the people that it's allocated for don't redeem it.
So real quick, when does this expire? Just to, I know you can repeat yourself here, but when does this expire? When can they not do this, not be eligible anymore?
Yeah, so it partially expires April of 2024, and it fully expires April of 2025. If you want to make sure you get the maximum amount possible, you'll want to get it done by April of 2024.
Is there any reason to wait? Like, is there any benefits of just waiting at all?
No benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. Here's the other thing, guys. If get your tax credit, spend half of it on Bitcoin. Trust me, this Bitcoin's going 160 grand this next bull cycle. We're about a year off. It's already moving. You saw me on Facebook pushing it when it was 15 to 20. Like, this is the stuff. Let's get this money. Let's put it to work. Let's invest in ourselves. We can invest in training. We can invest in SolarCon. We can invest in Bitcoin. But let's go get this money. I think we should get it. Cool.
That was a suggestion from Jonathan, because he's giving advice. You don't have to buy Bitcoin. That's just another option you can do with your money. But he's making a lot of money already from it, so might as well keep rolling on it. Let's go.
Bro, made more money in Bitcoin than solar.
Ooh, that would hurt. This is how do you hear that?
I didn't keep it all, right? Sometimes you sell, you buy some of the wrong coins. Some of the money I made on Bitcoin, I lost on the wrong coins. But anyways,
there you go. No, man,
hey,
this is
Joe,
amazing.
Thanks so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Joe.
bringing this to my attention. When I first heard this, I was like, skeptical. And the more I'm looking into it, it's like I see everybody looking into this now. So like it's happening. This is your opportunity. And this is because of Jonathan Gibbs bringing it to my attention, making sure the community knows about it. Travis Slade, thank you so much for being on here. Before I leave off, any last thoughts, Travis, on how this works and what people should do with the next steps?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Joe. Yeah, I'd say just start with that application link that you showed earlier, Joe, and make sure you send us all the documents that we're asking for. Again, we're going to try to get this process as quickly as possible for you, but also making sure we do it the right way. So just follow all the prompts we have and all the questions we ask, and you'll be in good shape.
And Jonathan, thank you so much for doing this, man. Appreciate it. You want any last thoughts?
No, I actually heard about it in your community first. Someone was posting about this in like December, like in your Facebook group. And I was like, what? And then it was like a week later when I went into the office that I learned about it. And that's why I actually reached out to you, is I actually heard about this first in your community. So you're doing what you have set out to do. You're bringing us value every day in solar, but you're also just bringing value to people in solar that has more to do than just solar. And that's what I think makes this great community is, dude, I mean, I'm in a couple other groups, but this is a group, obviously, I get the most value out of on a regular basis. And I've really appreciated what I've gotten from this. I mean, I actually heard about this first from your group. So that's why I thought we should bring it to you and let you talk about it first, because it just seemed right.
Let's go. Solar Objections Facebook group, where iron sharpens iron, baby. This is the epitome of it right here, baby. This has been amazing. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of that. Make sure you take this opportunity, jump on the application, get the money you deserve. It's your money sitting there. Go get it. There's no reason not to. Appreciate you, Jonathan. Appreciate you, Travis. We are out. Have a good one, guys.